stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you interpret a woman's touch. You might think it's random, friendly, or meaningless, but every gesture, every brief contact, every brush of her hand against yours tells a story far deeper than words ever could. Women communicate through subtlety, and touch is one of the most revealing languages in that system. If you've ever wondered why she rests her hand on your arm, adjusts your collar, or finds excuses for physical proximity, there's always intent. Sometimes it's instinctive connection, sometimes it's emotional testing, and sometimes it's the beginning of attraction expressed in silence. The key is learning how to read those small, fleeting interactions that most men overlook completely. So if you truly want to understand what each touch actually means, hit like, share, and subscribe right now, because after this breakdown, you'll never misread physical cues again. Reason 1. When a woman touches you casually, a brief brush on the arm, a hand on your shoulder, or a light tap during conversation, it's rarely meaningless. Physical touch is one of the first indicators that emotional safety exists between two people. Before attraction becomes visible, comfort becomes physical. Her body communicates what her words might hesitate to express, that she feels at ease in your presence. This subtle contact is her subconscious way of confirming that your energy feels non-threatening, calm, and grounding. Humans instinctively guard personal space, especially in early interactions. When she willingly shortens that distance, it's not accidental. It's a reflection of trust forming beneath awareness. Social psychology calls this proxemic relaxation, when emotional boundaries loosen through familiarity and perceived security. Her touch doesn't just express comfort, it signals acceptance of your emotional atmosphere. You've passed her internal safety check without even realizing it. You'll often notice this touch when she's laughing, explaining something, or emphasizing a point. The timing isn't random. Laughter lowers psychological defenses, and gestures often become extensions of emotion. Her hand may rest briefly on your arm because she feels connection without calculation. It's not always romantic, it's primal acknowledgement. Your presence aligns with comfort, not discomfort. That single moment of physical openness tells you her instincts trust you more than her logic might admit. But here's where most men misread it, assuming comfort means attraction. In reality, comfort is foundation, not conclusion. It's the space where attraction might grow, but it's not proof it already exists. Recognizing this distinction matters, because overreacting to comfort often disrupts it. When you remain composed, she senses emotional maturity, the quality that reinforces the comfort she's already expressed physically. Every touch during these moments is a conversation without words. It's the body's way of saying, I feel safe here. When she touches you lightly yet naturally, don't rush to define it, let it breathe. Because emotional comfort, once earned, becomes the silent ground where deeper connection can later take root. Reason 2. Not every touch is born from comfort, sometimes, it's an experiment. When a woman touches you deliberately, briefly, and then studies your reaction, she's not just being playful, she's gathering information. Touch becomes a subtle diagnostic tool, a way to measure your composure, your confidence, and your respect for boundaries. It's her silent method of evaluating whether you understand the difference between interest and intrusion. She's not merely touching you, she's testing the space between comfort and control. Evolutionary psychology explains this as behavioral calibration. Through light, non-committal gestures, she observes how you interpret physical contact. If you overreact, she reads eagerness. If you withdraw too sharply, she senses discomfort. But if you remain calm, respectful, and emotionally neutral, you communicate balance, the kind of steadiness that signals safety and self-assurance. Women notice these details instantly, because touch reveals what words conceal, how you handle subtle tension. You'll often see this test in environments charged with mild familiarity, social gatherings, casual meetings, or friendly conversations that carry underlying energy. She might brush past you in close proximity, adjust something near your shoulder, or accidentally graze your hand. None of these gestures are coincidences. They're controlled signals, deliberate enough to measure, subtle enough to deny. What matters most isn't the touch itself, but your reaction afterward. If you stay grounded, meet her energy without exaggeration, and continue your flow naturally, you pass the test. She realizes you're not ruled by impulse but guided by awareness. That restraint is magnetic because it communicates emotional discipline, a trait few men display under subtle provocation. Every calm response strengthens trust, every respectful boundary deepens intrigue. When she bothers to test boundaries physically, it means she already feels some level of comfort. She's not pushing limits recklessly, she's verifying compatibility through unspoken calibration. Touch, in this phase, is curiosity wrapped in caution. So when a woman touches you lightly, then waits for your energy to respond, remember, it's not flirtation alone. It's observation. She's learning who you are without asking questions, reading your instincts one gesture at a time. Reason 3. When a woman begins to find reasons to be physically near you, her touch evolves beyond casual or testing gestures. It becomes a bridge toward emotional resonance. She might stand closer than necessary, brush past you when there's space elsewhere, or place her hand lightly on your back while passing behind you. These are not coincidences. They're deliberate choices, instinctive expressions of her desire to sync emotionally through proximity. Touch, in this phase, is no longer a question, it's an unspoken statement. I feel drawn to your presence. Psychologically, humans use distance to manage vulnerability. When she reduces that distance, she's communicating trust through action, not words. Her body's orientation, her posture, even her breathing rhythm around you begin to align unconsciously. This is called limbic resonance, a subtle mirroring of emotional states. It's the body's natural way of bonding, beyond intellect, beyond performance. Her touches here will feel warmer, slower, and more purposeful. Perhaps she rests her hand on your forearm during conversation or lingers slightly when taking something from you. The energy behind these gestures isn't randomness, it's comfort turning into connection. You'll notice she no longer retracts instantly, because she's comfortable existing within your emotional frequency. The line between physical and psychological proximity blurs, forming a silent rhythm only both of you feel. But there's fragility hidden inside this closeness. Misinterpretation or haste can shatter the very balance she's cultivating. The correct response isn't reciprocation through exaggerated gestures, it's presence through steadiness. You hold eye contact gently, keep your tone grounded, and allow the atmosphere to breathe. When she senses no rush, she relaxes deeper into the comfort she's seeking. That's when touch transforms from instinct to connection. Every time she moves nearer, her subconscious declares trust, and every time you remain centered, you reinforce it. Proximity becomes its own language, subtle, slow, and sincere. So when a woman chooses closeness over distance, understand this truth: she's not just standing near you, she's aligning emotionally, saying through every touch, I feel connected, even when words fall short. Reason 4. When a woman's touch carries intent rather than coincidence, the energy around it shifts. Her gestures become slower, more deliberate, and often accompanied by prolonged eye contact or a subtle change in tone. She's no longer establishing comfort or testing boundaries, she's communicating attraction without words. Touch, at this stage, becomes her language of emotional exposure, where desire hides behind grace. It's how she expresses interest while maintaining control over vulnerability. Nonverbal attraction signals are ancient. Long before spoken language evolved, humans relied on body language to express interest safely. That legacy remains encoded in subtle gestures: a playful tap, a palm resting near yours, fingers tracing an object while maintaining eye contact. These are calibrated expressions, designed to reveal emotion while still offering deniability. Her goal isn't to announce attraction but to feel it through presence, to sense whether chemistry flows both ways. What distinguishes these touches is timing and intention. They appear during emotionally charged pauses, after a shared laugh, a moment of silence, or a brief connection of eyes. The atmosphere thickens slightly, filled with anticipation, as her hand finds a reason to make contact. You'll feel it, a stillness in the air, an unspoken question waiting in her movement. That's the essence of nonverbal attraction, silent emotion seeking acknowledgement without pressure. Your response defines the moment. If you react with exaggerated excitement, you break the subtlety she's creating. If you ignore it entirely, you dull the emotional rhythm. The right approach is balance, quiet awareness. You hold her gaze, remain relaxed, and match her energy without advancing impulsively. That restraint tells her you understand emotional tension, not as confusion but as connection unfolding naturally. These moments are fragile and powerful. A woman's touch during attraction is not an invitation for possession but recognition of resonance. It's her subconscious, confirming that something between you feels alive, real, and worth exploring. So when she touches you softly, lingers slightly, and lets silence fill the space between, remember, she's not speaking to your skin, she's speaking to your awareness. Reason 5. When a woman begins to touch you not out of thought but out of habit, you've entered the realm of subconscious affection. These gestures are different, uncalculated, unplanned, and free from the strategic caution that often accompanies early attraction. They emerge naturally, as if her body has accepted your presence as something comforting, familiar, and emotionally safe. This isn't performance or testing anymore, it's the quiet truth of attachment expressed through instinct. Subconscious affection appears in subtle, recurring behaviors: brushing lint off your sleeve, leaning against you when laughing, or unconsciously resting a hand near yours. Each touch is small, yet collectively, they signal something far deeper. She no longer thinks before reaching out, she feels before realizing she's done it. Psychologists call this automatic physical anchoring, where emotional warmth converts into spontaneous gestures that reinforce connection. In that moment, her body becomes the translator of her emotional comfort. What makes these touches meaningful is their consistency. They don't depend on setting, conversation, or social context. Whether in public or private, her comfort around you expresses itself physically. She might fix your collar without hesitation, touch your hand while speaking, or brush your arm when emphasizing a thought. These aren't displays meant to attract attention, they're affirmations meant to maintain closeness. Understanding this requires emotional sensitivity rather than analysis. If you try to interpret every touch as strategy, you'll miss the tenderness in its simplicity. When affection becomes subconscious, it transcends the boundaries of intention. She's no longer deciding to touch you, her affection is touching you. Your role is to recognize the quiet sincerity behind it and respond with presence, not possession. True emotional resonance exists when both people feel safe enough to express without planning. That's what subconscious affection represents: safety, trust, and a bond that no longer relies on signals to prove itself. So when her fingers find yours absent-mindedly, when her touch feels like breathing rather than communication, understand what's truly happening. Her heart has stopped speaking through words because her comfort has already chosen you.